Hey everybody, welcome to the second episode of Brown Mint Horror's Behind the Horror. We are with the stars and director of 2021's The Connection. This is a midnight releasing title. We want to give a shout out to Miss Shari over at Midnight Releasing for getting us hooked up with Mr. Nick Naylor, our director. Nick, throw your hand up.
Hey guys, how are you?
We have our star, Miss Laura Stetman. Throw your hand up, Laura.
Hey there, how's it going?
And probably my favorite, I guess you're a police deputy or something of that nature, Mr. Rod Grant.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey.
Rod had to give part of his payout from this film to his mustache, and that's a story for later that we'll be discussing.
It's true.
So we will. We're going to start with our director, Mr. Nick Naylor. Nick, introduce yourself. Tell us how you got involved with this film, and give us a little background.
Sure, guys. So I'm Nick Naylor. I directed this film. I think this is my fourth film I've directed now. Man, it's hard to keep track after all these years of being in the business. But The Connection, I wrote it. It came from an idea of what would happen if you had two people that were like completely different, and they were thrown together with just a little bit more power than everybody else. How would people kind of take that? And that's kind of how that journey kind of unrolled. And when you watch the film, I think you'll see that. It took about a year to get it all done. I would say Rod might have to correct me on that. I don't know. It was about a year, but we got it all done from start to writing to.
When you add in post editing, it was longer.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't thinking about that. So yeah, like I said, he's got to keep me on track with that because I lose track of time when I get into the minutia of it.
Sure.
So yeah, it took just over a year to get done from writing to putting the film out. We're very happy with it. The cast and crew did fantastic. They stuck to the script. I think we got most of what I wanted out there, and I'm really excited for people to watch it and kind of tell me what they think about it.
Awesome. Nick, where can we currently view The Connection? I watched it on Vimeo. Where we hitting up The Connection at?
Yeah, so it's everywhere right now. I know it's Amazon, Vimeo, Roku, pretty much anywhere you can stream. The only place I know it's not right now is Netflix, which is a whole nother beast, right? Because they have their own studios now and stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they do. So the little guys don't get to be on that platform anymore. Unfortunately, they're kind of phasing that out. But everywhere else you can see it, you can see it. So I mean, if you literally just Google The Connection 2021, or if you have Amazon, you can watch it right now everywhere.
Awesome. Brown Mint viewers, the link to the film will be in the notes here. So if you want to check out this awesome film, all you gotta do is click below. You'll be able to see this thing. We're going to move on to Miss Laura. Thank you, Nick. Miss Laura Stetman providing our female role. Laura, you're from San Diego, right?
Yeah, I am actually. I grew up in Colorado, but literally San Diego is where we moved from, and then basically most of my childhood was Colorado.
Sweet. Tell us a little bit about how you became an actress and how you got involved with this film.
So honestly, I've been pretending, like going into roles and everything ever since I was probably, I would say like 3 years old. So it's just kind of always been in me. But I would say when I moved to Steamboat Springs, Colorado, I did have an opportunity to move back to California and go to a film acting school, but my parents really wanted me to have like a normal education. So I still stayed there. And then as soon as I graduated, that's when I pursued film acting, was in LA.
Nice.
So it was pretty nice. From then on, like I fell in love with film acting. I love it so much more than stage acting. So
I think that her love for The Sweet Life and Zach and Cody is what turned her on to acting.
Solid bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Because I didn't watch that show a lot. It literally was just like a moment, guys, where that's what was on. And then I was just watching kind of, how the characters were and everything. And I was like, I could do this. And I just paused it and then went upstairs and Googled film acting schools in LA. And then it's funny because the one that
popped
ended
up.
up, yeah, the one that I ended up like going to was the one that they went to. So Gary Spatz Playground. And then it just kind of went uphill from there.
Well, awesome. We thoroughly enjoyed seeing you go a bit Glenn Close on Nick Naylor during this film. And we'll talk about that in a second about how that correlates for our viewers.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Laura. We're going to move on to Mr. Rod Grant. We made that sly joke about his mustache, and he'll give us that story in just a moment. But Rod, tell us about how you got into acting and how you got involved with Mr. Nick Naylor here.
Well, basically, I met Nick, and Nick kicked me in the butt and said, "You're doing this or else," and that was the
Wow.
That's what happened.
That's the relationship with him. Yeah.
When I want somebody, I get them.
There you go.
There you go.
Right. No, it's years ago. It's kind of something I kind of hit that age where you have to decide what you want to do in life, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to do anything else. I didn't have much interest in doing anything else. So, and then I started writing books, and then I crossed back over and been doing it now. So this is my 18th year now. So,
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess it's one of those things where like you kind of just put focus on that and didn't look back, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been easy. It's a tough business, but
Sure.
If that's all you want to do, that's Nick and I talk about this all the time. We just love being on set. Almost even a bad day is still a good day to us on set.
In the words of Mr. Tony Fadil, you're immortalized now, no matter what. Nick, this story that you've written and directed and you made, I don't have a physical copy or anything up on the shelf yet.
Coming.
But right. But here's the thing, you, Laura, Rod, you guys been immortalized inside of this film. 50, 60, 70, 80 years from now, when they look back on Laura's career, Nick's career, about all the films that he's done and the accomplishments he's made, Rod, same thing. People are going to see this early work and they're going to be like, I saw them in something a while, way back when. And Laura was like super crazy on this dude. And Nick and this guy named Foster was like, trying to get away and go back to his girlfriend. And then there's guy with his awesome mustache with a gun tasing everybody. It was so good to see that. But seriously, this is, we appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate the work that you've done. We appreciate your passion. We appreciate you being able to entertain us, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to move on to our next section. And viewers, this is the trivia round. It's going to be a bit of a round robin. RL is going to take over. He'll be asking each of you a question first.
Ooh.
Oh,
and then,
God.
Now, Laura, we know you love horror films, okay?
Oh,
You're gonna
man.
become a fan today.
I'm gonna lose.
After seeing Laura's list of her favorite horror films, which happened to be 7, Disturbia. I can't remember what the third one was, Laura, but I was like,
Pee-wee's Big Playhouse.
Right, something like that. Pee-wee Goes to Jail, or I don't remember. Anyway, I was just like, okay,
rude. No.
How am I going to find a question that fits the bill here? I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. So, Laura, you know what? Since you love these films so much, we're going to start with you. I tried to come up with a question that would be closer to the movies that you like and kind of keep it based around the same genre as the film that we just checked out last night that starred you guys. So, for you, what 1996 psychological thriller starred Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon?
Oh, man. Do I get to phone a friend?
All your friends are here. That's it.
Yeah, don't call me, Laura. I don't know.
Can I nominate Nick to answer it?
I have Google. Hold on. No, I won't cheat.
All
You
All
know,
right.
you've probably seen it. Mark's got that super Boston accent. He's like, you shouldn't do that, Mr. Walker.
He wasn't near as buff as Nick in The
Oh,
Connection,
geez.
but I mean,
Right. There were no tank tops in this film.
Oh, geez.
I vaguely remember the movie. I don't remember the title of it.
I
All
can't
right.
help you, Laura. I don't know.
So nobody knows.
Oh God, I don't know.
I don't.
The movie
don't.
title was what, JC?
Fear.
Oh wow, simple.
Never seen it.
I don't even know if I
Wow.
saw that.
Yeah, I think I saw
That
it.
went right over.
Yeah.
It did fly under the radar for a lot of folks. Really great film, though.
Okay.
I'm gonna add that to my list. I'm gonna watch that.
All right, Nick, you're next.
Shoot. Let's see
This
what
one-
I can fail at.
This one should be good. We just referenced it a while ago.
Okay.
What actor was the apple of Glenn Close's eye in the movie Fatal Attraction?
Oh, and I've actually seen this a lot.
His family is
Oh.
pretty famous.
That's embarrassing. I should actually know this one because I
Can
actually
we
like
answer
that
for
movie.
each other or no?
No, hey, you give me a chance here. Hold on, sir. I actually love this movie. And of course, I'm terrible under pressure. You're asking me to do something, and I'm like, I don't know.
His father's name might have been Kirk.
I should know this.
That
I don't.
movie scared the hell out of all.
It was
men,
such
by
a-
the way.
It was such a great movie too, and
JC, you want to help him out?
I don't know. I
I'm
don't
going to
remember.
say Kirk Douglas.
No, Kirk was the dad. Michael
Oh,
Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Michael
Michael
Douglas.
Douglas.
Michael.
Wow.
Douglas. I should know that. I really should have. I've seen that movie like a lot. I actually like that movie a lot.
If,
Yeah,
if
the
this
writing was
continues,
fantastic.
again, I think just
If this
last year
continues-
I watched it again.
if this
Yeah.
continues, JC, we're gonna have to throw him some softballs. Like, who was the lead actress in The Connection? Go.
I didn't know that.
All
I
right,
should know
Rod.
that. I
know
feel like
it.
I should know that one, and I don't. I
All
don't
right,
remember.
Rod.
No, I'm kidding.
Rod, you could steal the show right here. Rod could win it with just one right
Damn,
answer.
I should have known that.
All right, Rod,
on, Rod.
in what movie made in 2002 does a photo developer become obsessed with a middle class family?
Oh, this is a great one.
And what? Well, I missed the first part. In what
All right.
movie?
In what movie made in 2002 does a
Oh,
photo developer become obsessed with a middle class family?
I think I know this one.
It might be starring Robin Williams.
It is.
I know what movie you're talking about. I don't remember the title of it.
Oh, Hot Rod. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's like one of the few roles where he like does a dramatic, complete opposite of what he normally does.
I love
JC?
Robin Williams.
Nick, you want to steal this one? Nick?
I think it's developed or something like
oh
that.
my God.
Was it not
Nick.
photo developed? It was something. It was like something like that, and I can't remember the name. And I watched it like 6 times because Robin Williams is one of my favorite actors.
The name of
terrible
this
at this.
film is 1 Hour Photo.
1 Hour photo. You're
Oh
absolutely
my
right.
God, I should have guessed. I was guessing one photo. I missed the hour part.
You know, with as many movies as I watch, I should be
Yeah.
much better at this.
All right.
I'm
So
like a movie geek. but
so
never
we'll
mind.
do one here just where everybody can throw their hands up. Let me see if I can figure one out. Okay, I think I'm ready. This is just off the top of my head, so we'll see what happens here. In what movie starred Erica Christensen? Do we know who she is? Wow.
Let me
Trying to
throw
think
it to him using the Bring It On reference.
All right. Not only did Erica Christensen have a crush on this guy, the guy was the brother of Elijah Dushku in Bring It On. And what is the name of that film?
She was a bit obsessed too.
I vaguely remember Bring It On. That movie's very old.
I want to say Crush. Is that it?
Oh man,
Yeah.
you know what is funny about that? I almost added that film into this, but no, it's not it.
Not that
Oh.
one. Hmm.
That had Alicia Silverstone in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Which I just happen to have right here.
man,
Wow.
you're like on it over there, man.
The other movie was Swim Fan.
Swim
Swim
fan.
fan. Okay.
I was gonna say that.
No more psychological thrillers. JC, throw him an easy one here.
All right.
Somebody has
I think
to
it's
win.
becoming apparent that we only make movies, we don't watch.
What's sad is I watch so many movies. It's almost
That's our
insane.
producer right there.
I guess
Terrible.
you would say they don't get their inspiration from watching other films right
Wow.
now.
Who's the killer in Halloween?
Oh.
Hey,
Now it's
Laura
okay.
raised her hand first.
Oh.
is
Right,
it
Laura.
Michael Myers?
You got it.
Ding, 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 ding.
I felt like if I answered that incorrectly, no one would watch my films again. So I just had to be quiet.
He was like,
was
I
only
know that.
80%.
Never mind. No, I don't.
I was like only 80%. I'm like, I'm not gonna embarrass myself that easily. Not gonna happen.
All right, Laura, we'll be sending you the grand prize, which is like 5 horror movie box sets. Just
Oh man.
Oh
Just
my
for
god,
the
I'll use
trophy.
it for my research. That's all.
Horror film in a box.
right,
We'll do that for
exactly.
you.
All right, guys. Honestly, we're sitting here, we're talking about other films, but we kind of want to deep dive into you guys' film a little bit. Nick, if you want to just start us off and tell us how you pulled this group together, what you were kind of looking for when you found Laura, and then just tell us a little bit about the backstory of how you created the film.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I've been making films a long time in this area. I started out doing theater and improv comedy and stuff, and then worked into film. Me and Rod met in acting school, so I have a pretty good group of talent. And there's a lot of times when I'm writing, I'm kind of Adam Sandler like, right? When I'm writing, I'm like, okay, which one of my friends do I want to write into this movie and fit this role? Because I like working with good and the same people and people that have started with me, right? Like I feel like the people that started with me when I had nothing and I was making movies with, a stick and a mic, those guys should be with me as I move up in production value and things like that. So I try to stick with that. And Laura, I've known for many years. We worked together on a couple projects, and she we did a really fun action test film between each one of my features. I make a test film where I test new equipment, new ideas, and I never put them out. Nobody ever sees them. I just put a lot of time and money into something to get better each time. And Laura was willing to come out, and she let me beat her up for a couple months practicing some martial arts and stuff, and she did great. And we got to know each other and we became friends. And when I was writing this film, I was like, who do I know? Because normally we cast nationally because we do like to work with new people. But when I was writing this film, I was like, who do I know that is just perfect for this? And Laura popped into my head immediately. And as I was writing, I was like, she will crush this and it will be amazing, right? And luckily I was right, because she came out and crushed it and it was amazing. And her performance is fantastic in this film. So when we put that together and I worked with my friends, and we had very limited characters in this film. And that's a problem when I was writing, I'm like, man, there's so many people I know that I want to work with, and I only have so many. So a lot of people are going to be mad at me, but you do what's best for the film. So I had a lot of angry emails. But I got to work with Laura. She said yes. I got to work with Rod. He said yes, which is great because I knew he would kill it, and he brought dynamics to the role that weren't even originally written into it, which was fantastic, as did Laura. And then I got to work with the one and only Joe Linecoop, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with him, but the king of B movies. I think he's done over 300 films or something. He's insane. He's done so much stuff, and you guys, being horror guys, he would have answered all those questions. He's the king of horror. He knows everything about it. He's amazing person. Love him to death. So I finally got to work with him, and I had this great script and this great cast, and we just went out and we made it happen, guys, and we got it all done. And it was a lot of hard days and a lot of fun. But like Rod said, every day on set's fun, and that's what we try to do it. And I think a bad day on set's better than a good day doing anything else, because we just love doing it. And I love being there and creating art and creating stuff that even if only one person watches it and affects them in some way, and it's even only for one person, I feel like I did my job. You know what I mean? We touched someone in some way and kind of gave them a break from their reality that day and let them have an entertaining experience. That's kind of what I want to do. And I think the cast and crew did this, and the film came out really good. We're very proud of it. And I thank all you guys for watching it, and I thank everyone for being part of it.
Nick, I'll be honest, you gave me a bit of PTSD with Vera's character.
Well, I just designed her after everyone's crazy ex-girlfriend ever. So, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Part of that's in it. I got a little crazy ex-girlfriend that I personally wrote in that. So, there's a little bit of
art
that,
imitating
right?
life imitating art.
Yeah,
For sure.
Allegedly.
It's funny because I used like part of one of my ex-boyfriends in Vera. Like he was, but I think I told Nick like he was bipolar. Yep.
Yeah.
So I like pulled from that experience. So
and that's what's so great with working with people like Laura is like, because we're also personally friends, so we can sit together and we can go over things. And I think it makes these characters and these no pun intended connections even stronger on film, because we can have those deep conversations and stuff that maybe if you're on a SAG set and they just bring in an actor and you don't get to meet them first, and that's not to say they can't do a fantastic job, but for me, I like to know who I'm working with, and I like to be friends with them, and I like to go out with them and like get to know them on a personal level, no matter what role you're on. Even if you're the boom guy, I try to hang out with you at some level, and we get to know everybody, because the people we work with are important to us, and we want to know them, and we want to have a friendship and a relationship, and know who when I call. And that's probably why when I call people, they just go, what do you want to do? I'm in. Like, doesn't matter, let's make a film. Because we have such a good relationship with these guys. And that was great with working with Laura. Like, I knew day one we could walk on set and it was going to be just, we're going to put it in the can, it's going to be great. And it was.
Yeah.
The chemistry was definitely there between the two of you, Nick. That was very apparent. Especially, there was one scene where, just the tenacity that she had with like wanting you to stay around, that came through to me. I'm sitting there watching it last night, and that's where I got the PTSD stuck in. To this day, if I hear a certain ringtone, my stomach gets in knots. And that's why
I understand that.
And it just dude, when she was wanting you to stay, and like the way she was looking at you, and for our viewers, you gotta see this part, because this back third is really where Vera kind of like reminds me of that Taylor Swift song.
I don't know. I think I know which one you're talking about.
I get drunk on jealousy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and that's how we designed the character when I was writing it. I wanted Vera's character. She's a very beat up and abused in life kind of person, very weak, very small, very timid, always being used in her town, very one-dimensional. And then
goes full badass.
Yeah. And then she's given this little bit of extra, and she kind of takes that and decides, well, I don't have to be that anymore. And you kind of get to see what that's like. She gets thrown into a situation with what she believes is a guy that now loves her and she's supposed to be with, and she gets these ideas, and that kind of transforms her. And I'll let Laura speak to her character development side of that. But for Foster's side, I can tell you it's the same thing, because he starts out as probably, on the scale, the more powerful one. And as things go, he's like, holy crap, like I can't control this, right? Like this is insane. I just want to get back to my life. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do with this. And I think we conveyed that pretty well on the screen, and Laura did a fantastic job, which she would, right? Because I'm an actor and I'm formally trained and all that stuff, but I mean, Laura on set is a force to be reckoned with. So like every day you're in a scene with her, I'm just like, okay, bring your game up. You got to match the scene, because you can see just from watching the takes, like she pushes everyone on set, and you have to bring it, because she's bringing it and she's insane. And I'm on set like, how am I not supposed to, like, I'm honestly scared right now. Like, she's coming home with me. This is insane. I don't want to leave. Like I gotta go. Sneak me out the back door. This woman's crazy. So I mean, and it shows, and I think it works. And that's what's so powerful about it, and what their relationship looks like. And I hope we convey that, and I hope when you watch it, you do cringe, and you're like, this girl's insane. Like, what are we doing? And that's what we're going for. So I hope you guys feel that.
Yes, definitely. RL, do you want to move on to Miss Laura here?
Yeah, Laura, I mean, obviously we've spoken about how you definitely went 0 to 2000 in this film. And I think, one of the things for me is like when we first open up and it's all about you two kind of making the connection, caring for each other, just taking care of each other, and finding that part of the relationship was the easy part. And then when, Foster even mentions the phone call to said girlfriend or person of interest, just the switch that it brought to you and your character. And, it was pretty awesome. Like it was one of those scenes where, especially when he leaves and you just trash the room, obviously very fun. But, you know, just like he was saying, you know, what is it and how do you continue to, especially when there are breaks and takes and things like that, how do you go from taking a minute to yourself to like another level every single time?
And just to preface that one thing, how long was this shoot for?
We did this film, I think, in 14 days.
I
think we shot this. Okay, 16 with a couple reshoots, right? Was that what it worked out to be? I don't know, 14 to 16 days. Rod would know more than me. I was just there.
All right. Yes, Laura. So RL's question, think about it. 2 weeks, you're going from 0 to 2,000, day in and day out, back and forth. Hit us.
Okay. So honestly, the other part that you guys don't know about is I had just finished playing a lead in another film. So I really had to switch because
is that
was
Todd?
Completely, yeah, Todd. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Literally these films shot back to back. Once Todd was over, it was like 2 days and then they would shoot The Connection. I was like, okay, like,
let's go.
You know, honestly, I'm really invested in the characters that I take on. And I really have to think about where they're coming from emotionally. And I go to my life and kind of who I've been around, the relationships that I've been in. And then just, if I read something on a script and something stands out to me, I will go back to that time or that like sort of relationship that I was in. And if I feel like that is exactly where the character is at, I just go with it. I don't really question anything. The other thing too is, you know, one thing I did learn about my ex, which I have to give a thank you to him, because honestly, had I not been around someone who had bipolar, I would not be able to pull off what I did with Vera. And it's just because when you read her lines, she goes literally from like 0 to 60. Like she just like, woo, goes up there. And you kind of wonder, you know, had I not had that relationship with that one guy, I would wonder how in the world does someone get there? But there is a switch. They literally switch in that moment and you have no idea like where it's going and how it got there so fast. So it basically, you know, you pull from those emotions, and I would just remember the certain lines and I would pick certain moments where she would just tick, basically. If it was something that Foster did, if it was something that Foster, you know, said in the take. Again, I don't really like to rehearse so much too. Nick will definitely tell you about that. I go with what's going on in the moment for sure. And that just seems to really work with how Vera is anyways. So that's kind of where I took that.
And Nick, was this shot in Florida?
Yes, it was.
Okay. What time of the year was it? Do you remember?
What month did we shoot this?
I think it was.
God, it sounds terrible that I don't know.
I mean, with the amount of tank tops that were worn in this
it's
film,
always hot. I can tell you that. Because Florida has hot, hotter, and then like 3 days of cold. So that's about all you get. So yeah, I mean, it was summerish time, so we were always hot. But when you're shooting, like that stuff goes out the window for me, man. We just get down and do it.
Here's the reason. The reason I brought that up. First and foremost, 100 points for your tank top.
Okay.
The second thing is, I used to work in a factory, and heat and elements and things like that can definitely affect one's mood. Would you think that, you know, we're here in the South, you know, we're here in Nashville, humidity sucks. You know, you might not be able to tell it, but if my hair was any longer, you know, it'd be like fro during the summertime. I mean, I
understand. We're from Florida. We have bad humidity. I mean, it's Florida, man. We live in a swamp.
So would you say that any, I guess, weather elements or anything like that might have affected Laura, maybe your attitude, bringing anything to the table? You know, you're out there shooting take after take, hot and sweaty. I just want to be done for the day, stuff like that. Can you speak to that at all?
I can speak to that. It's not so much. It wasn't so much the like humidity. it was definitely, you guys will remember, like that 20-hour day.
Oh,
yeah, 20 hours of shooting.
That seems to be a recurring theme with filmmaking, the 20-hour day.
Yeah, it only happened one day, but it did happen.
Yeah.
It was very intense. Yeah, it was an intense one, but that definitely added to my scene for sure, because it was the scene. Well, there were two different scenes, but the scene it definitely added to was when she gets drugged, basically, because she's already like getting tired. She's already kind of slurring her words a little bit. So it just kind of added to it because I was so exhausted. I was mentally exhausted, you know, mostly mentally exhausted, not so much physically, but definitely, you know, I had a headache that was working against me at the same time. I remember that. Yeah, it was, you know, I really couldn't focus that much, but it kind of works because when you're being drugged and you're kind of going into a state anyways, it worked perfectly. So, I mean, I would say that specific like moments definitely influenced how I was in that scene for sure.
And Nick, what did you use for that drug powder?
I don't know. We had I had one of my grips, and grips are always expert at drugs, so they went and did it. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. No, I did though. We had a good grip, and he's like, hey, I know all about drugs. I'm like, well, I don't know anything about him, so what would you do? And he literally had to teach me how to like smash a pill and like cut it up and stuff, because I don't know. So I'm literally like getting drug dealing lessons on set. I'm like, this is cool. I'm learning stuff. Okay.
All right.
So I don't know what the powder would have been, but you know, whatever you would use to drug a girl to get away from her.
Right.
I think that's the first time that's ever happened in a movie too. You drug the girl to like, I need to leave.
Right.
Foster was like, I'm about to drug the hell out of this girl right here, so I can get the hell away.
Oh, I got to
hear you. RL, what do you think? Let's hear from Rod.
Yep. Yeah, Rod. I mean, so it seems like here, the one thing I keep hearing out of Nick is that you have to keep him in line most of the time. So how do you go from sheriff's deputy who should have donned the porn stash with chewing gum? You can tell that story a little bit if you like. And then, you know, how'd you go from that guy, that character being, you know, kind of the crack up on set, keeping people going, to kind of keeping everything in line and keeping up with the other things that you're supposed to be doing? Because everybody knows in independent films, you're wearing multiple hats, you know, and that's the one thing that we try to bring out in these interviews, is that you guys don't just act, you don't just direct, you don't just write, you don't just produce, you know. When you go into IMDb, you know, there's a list of 45 things that you've been a part of on, you know, so many different levels. So how do you wear those hats, keep people going, and still be able to kind of, you know, keep the mood light?
Wow, that's a good question. Can I defer that to No, well, first of all, as a team, Nick and I have talked about it. It's because we've been on lots of other sets. And so it's really important for us that everybody's morale stays up when we're filming. So we try to do that and try to make sure that, you know, we're making art. You know, if you can't have fun making art, you should probably go do something else. Yes, it's work. You know, it can get, for a producer, it's problem solving. But you know, we love being on set, and so it's important to us that everybody's morale stays up. And so I always try to remind myself of that. I get annoyed, I think, faster than Nick does, much more easier than Nick is. He's more calm about things. But yeah, does that answer your question? I hope it does.
Yeah, so basically you made sure everybody, you know, was having a good time. You might have funded it. You might have had the band ready for everybody to go to Waffle House at the end of the shoot. You know, what I guess I wrote down 50 points to Rod's gum chewing and facial expressions.
Only 50.
Well, you know, 50 out of 50.
Okay, all right.
So, I mean, here's the thing. You are watching this, and the older sheriff, I guess Nick, was he the actual sheriff? Just of that?
Yeah. He was the actual sheriff, and Rod was his like deputy, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah,
okay,
played by Joel.
Joel Wynkoop. Yep.
Joel Wynkoop. Yeah.
So Joel is, basically watching the movie that we're watching unfold on this laptop.
Correct.
Which is really cool, by the way.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Thank you.
And we have Rod's character Gallagher. As I was watching it, the first thing that I wrote, that I notated at the beginning of the film was, Gallagher goes all Nashville, no time wasted shooting this chick. And then I wrote, discuss Rod shooting first from the perspective of Han and Greedo from Star Wars. So we all know that Rod definitely shot first. Gallagher takes no shit.
That's right.
So Rod, I want to talk to you some more. Give us that, before the interview started here, you were telling us about your mustache and how its role, you had to give part of your payout to your mustache, and it was kind of an extra.
It had its own trailer and everything. It was crazy.
Right. Tell us about the mustache thing.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before we started. I actually wanted my character to have, and I talked to Nick about it too, like a real thick, bushy 70s kind of mustache, and I just felt like with the gum chewing, it was just going to be so much funnier than without one. But I was so concerned that I was going to book work, then I'd have to shave it, because sometimes you get booked off your headshot, and that happens for me, luckily. And if that happened, then I was gonna we would have basically stop all my scenes, because I would have need weeks to grow it back out. So I ended up only like having a rough look. So, which I hope it came out.
I loved it.
Well, I don't want to give spoiler, give away the movie, but
let's not give the whole thing away, okay?
Yeah.
The mustache, the shadow of the mustache does appear.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm spitballing off some of these points. I got a whole little list here.
Wow.
I wrote down, Foster reminds me of Kane Hodder. By a show of hands, who knows who Kane Hodder is?
No, one person.
Okay.
I'm gonna look him up.
This right here is Kane Hodder. I don't know if you can see that guy or not.
I do see him. I don't know who that is. What was he in?
He might have been in a few films, a few of the Friday the 13th franchises. He played Jason Voorhees.
He did. I've seen interviews with him now that I see his face.
Dude, listen. If Brown Mint Horror takes off.
Call me.
When Brown Mint Horror takes off. We will employ you to do a Friday the 13th fan film.
Absolutely.
I'm in. Let's go.
Absolutely.
I don't give a big damn if Jason Voorhees has the tank top on or not.
We might go full. We might go just tank top. You know what I'm saying?
I'm open to anything. Let's do
just
this.
Tank top, machete type style. I love it.
All right. I'm cool with that.
And Laura can play our final girl.
That's it.
Whoa, I'm in. Now this is even more. I'm doubling.
Definitely in. Pick me.
And then Rod.
He's
Rod
like
will show up.
Rod needs to be like the not a camp counselor, but like the leader of the camp. Like the one that's like, you go here and you go here and you go here. And then the whole time he's like porn stash, whistle, white nose.
The super short shorts. Like from
absolutely.
Yes.
They're like yellow banana shorts with like a white shirt.
Yes.
You make me want to write this, and I'm writing too many scripts
the film
right now.
has been written right here on the show today.
Now,
you've heard it here,
I
Brown
get
Mentors.
to wear a tank top as well, or no?
Rod, you got to keep those guns put away.
Okay?
Put those guns away, Rod.
We're not ready for all that.
It's like a smuggling a Serbian down there.
No camera can capture that much sexy, Rod. You know this. We can't do it, man.
Let me see here.
So let's talk about some upcoming, JC. What's upcoming? Yeah. What's next for you guys?
What's next? Let's start with Nick. Nick, what's coming next?
So I have another feature that we're almost ready to go into pre-pro with. Everything's almost done. I've got a couple scripts I'm in the process of finishing up that I want to get in and start filming. Maybe The Connection too. I don't know. Laura's blowing up, so it's hard to get her to work with me anymore. How famous she is, but
we were talking about that.
Wow, Laura.
We did leave it open for that. No, but there is my goal. Actually, my next film is in the same universe that The Connection takes place in, but not a direct correlation to this film in a way. So it does take place in the same kind of world that the first Connection took in. So I've got a couple other films I'm working on too, but if this one does well and the next one does okay, I have a quote unquote sequel that would kind of touch on each of their lives and how that kind of works. So we're just waiting to see. So far we've gotten very good reviews, and people have seemed to accept the film well in a bunch of different communities. I wasn't expecting it to do so well in. So we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, we've got another film we'll be doing. I know Rod and Laura are doing a bunch of stuff as well, so maybe I'll pop up in one of their things.
I was thinking, I thank you for smoking fan film starring the true Nick Naylor.
The true Nick Naylor?
Oh,
yeah.
here it goes.
If I hear that joke one more time.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry,
when
man.
I was in acting school, you know how many times they made me do those scenes?
I'm so sorry. Like I
had to read that all the time.
We watched the movie last night, and as we're watching, we're chatting on the phone, you know, and I'm in Alabama right now for work, and he's in Tennessee. So we're trying to remote this thing. And so I call him last night, and I'm like, we're watching the film together, kind of over the phone, spitballing. And so I'm like, okay, Nick Naylor, type it in, Google.
I do not pop up first after that.
Aaron
movie.
Eckhart.
What? Aaron Eckhart? Ain't that Two-Face? Like, what's going on here? Why do I not know this? And then I'm like looking, I'm like, I love that movie. It is hilarious, but I never remembered his name. So now I will forever remember his name. Thanks to you. Fan film coming in 2022 by the real Nick Naylor.
We'll talk about it. You have your people, call my people. We'll go over that.
I got you.
I'd rather do the Jason Tank Top movie. I want the big knife.
Yes. Jason Takes Florida. That
would be, hey, I'm interested. Let's talk. I've never played a serial killer, non-killable guy before. I think it'd be cool.
Hey, all joking aside, really, man, I could see it. I hope that you do find time to write a horror film and we get to talk about it.
I actually have one that is half written that I'm working on finishing up, but it's more of a horror comedy. It's more along the Army of Darkness, Evil Dead type stuff.
I'm down with that.
I love that kind of comedy. I love horror comedy. I love the stuff that's serious but doesn't take itself too seriously. Bruce Campbell, I'm a big fan of, and I love all the stuff he does.
You know, they just announced Evil Dead 4.
Rising. I love it. It looks great.
Awesome.
I love them all. So yeah, the Evil Dead I always loved, and that's why I kind of like Freddy Krueger was kind of my like big guy, because they, you know, it was funny, but it was also killing people, and I kind of dig that kind of stuff. So I do have a horror comedy I'd like to do in the future if it comes to pass.
You heard it here, folks. Nick Naylor, killing people. It's cool.
Let's do it. It's cool. Killing people's great, as long as it's funny.
It's got to be funny.
You got to kill people with a little laugh. You know,
absolutely.
That's what matters.
Miss Laura, we'd like to hear from you again.
All right.
We have
human trafficking.
We have it on
trafficking. That's what's next.
Hold on. We have it on good authority that this Todd film that you're in might have also had a certain Police Academy character in it.
Who do you think it was?
Michael Winslow. You got to work with Michael Winslow. How awesome is that?
Yes, it was really cool. He wasn't in any of the scenes with my character Amy, but he was awesome. I actually showed up early for my call time that day, and I saw him in the bar doing his scenes. He was just so fun to work with. He's hilarious.
Now, we might talk to you about Todd at a later date, but if you'd like to plug Todd, a little bit what it was about, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So Todd is about this guy. Basically, well, his name is Todd, and and he actually is going to a therapist, and for just a bunch of different problems he has. I think one of them is supposed to be that he's bipolar as well. And so the therapist is basically employing him to take his meds, do it on time, you know, and then, you know, really be social in the world. That's a lot of the things that people with those kinds of like disorders and stuff have issues with. So Todd is one of those guys. When he gets out in the world, he kind of takes his focus to an unhealthy, like definitely a way unhealthy point, and he ends up actually stalking this one girl, Amy, that's who I play. She's a waitress, and then also stalking his therapist. So he just kind of goes super mad because he just stops taking his meds altogether. And, you know, he's always kind of felt like the odd man out. That's his kind of personality. And yeah, he just goes overboard with it. So it's got a little bit of almost like a Psycho kind of vibe in it. I do know that horror movie, so yeah, it's got a little bit of that kind of vibe.
It's kind of like, have you guys watched You on Netflix?
Oh.
Yes. So
it makes me think of that.
Yes. Yes, kind of like You.
Okay.
Yep.
Laura Stetman, check her out. Todd, The Connection. What else you got out, Laura? Where can we see you at?
Ooh, okay. Well, as of now, I'm slated for like 4 or 5 different films, but they're filming in different countries.
4 or 5, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, but again, because of the pandemic, all the dates are like to be decided. So it's just it's a little bit of that like unfortunate kind of, well, it is what it is kind of thing. But yeah, they're mostly in the genre of there's one that's supposed to be a romance, and then Came You. The director is Preston Walden. And then he's also directing Truth About Monsters. That one's going to be an intense one. That's about human trafficking, specifically on how it happens in Tampa. A lot of research has been done for that film. He talked to multiple people in the area, and he just has like, you know, he just decided, oh my gosh, I care so much about this cause. I have to write a script about it. I have to get this out there. So it's pretty scary, but it goes into both of the worlds. So it goes into the traffickers and how they become traffickers. And then it goes into the girls that are stuck and they never know if they're ever going to escape or if they're ever going to get out. So it's going to be very, very interesting. That's supposed to shoot in the fall, so like September. Yeah, and then I have a couple TV series. One's pretty exciting. It's almost like The Office, but a raunchy kind of version. So
okay.
yeah,
you got my ear now. You got my ear.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So that one, again, that's supposed to be in the summer. Dates are still to be decided. It's pretty great though, because they actually got A-list actors interested. So it went from being almost like an experimental TV series to now this is actually going to be like SAG, and this is actually going to happen. But you know, they're flying out the mains from LA, but I have a supporting role in that. So
fantastic, Laura. That's awesome.
Cool.
Very cool. I'm excited to look forward to like everything.
Laura, we look forward to seeing you and everything in the future. And I think RL and we can't wait to follow your career more. Same with you, Nick. We look forward to seeing more productions from you. And moving on to Rod, what are we going to be seeing you in next? What you got in the cook? What do you got cooking here?
I don't know. As a producer, I've got like 7 or 9 films in development. And so I'm always pitching those as I'm a big comedy guy. I love comedy. And so I really am hoping to, as an actor producer, do a movie called When Will Want Everything, which is a play Nick and I did years ago that I wrote that killed. Every time we did it, it just brought the house down. So just want to get that on film for everybody. So I'm really hoping to do that this year. But I know Nick has something that I think he wants me to help him with. And as an actor, this game is audition. I just auditioned last week for a major movie, so I don't know if I got it. I probably didn't, but that's the name of this game. It's just constantly auditioning.
It's all about waking up with that fire every day that I'm going to make something happen. Like this is what I want to do. This is the path I've chosen. I'm going all in. I will succeed. I will make it happen.
Yeah.
RL, I'd like to let's take a sec if we can, and like to circle to for those watching here in Nashville, as we said before we started the interview, everybody was on, our passion is for increasing independent filmmaking here in the Nashville scene. As we said, everybody plays one of these, everybody sings. What doesn't appear to be coming in droves is filmmakers. Even though we have a Nashville Film Institute, you don't hear a lot about that. I'd like to go around and just kind of ask everybody this question. You guys can respond. We'll start with Nick. If you were to say something to an independent filmmaker right now, whether it be an actor, a writer, someone who's just thinking they want to do that, what's something inspirational that you could tell them? Pretend you're Tony Robbins for a sec. What would you say to them to keep grinding away and keeping their nose to the grindstone?
Right. So, and I get this question a lot actually, because I do this kind of stuff a lot. So I'm always asked, and I go to events and film festivals before the pandemic and everything, and I speak. So I get to meet a lot of young filmmakers, and we work with Full Sail to bring some of their people over and stuff when we do stuff. So I get to meet a lot of young, like super excited up and coming filmmakers, and I always tell them the same thing. First thing is you gotta make something clear in your heart, right? Make sure that you love making films or doing whatever it is in your writing, whatever it is, more than anything else, right? Don't think it's probably the business to get into. You have to love it more than anything else. It has to be what you're supposed to do. And if that question is yes, then the next thing is just go do it. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait till you got the best gear. Don't wait till this guy gives you permission or you've got so many people on YouTube, whatever it is. Make sure it's what you want to do and then just go do it. Don't make excuses. You can start making movies on your phone in your backyard and start learning stuff. Just do it. And that's always the hardest thing and the biggest challenge when I talk to people. I don't have this camera, or this guy's got this, or this guy's got that, or I don't have time. And I go, well, if you love it that much, make time and just do it and stop waiting. Get up. I don't care if it's 2 a.m. I don't care whatever it is. Just start doing it today. And then 5 years from now, you'll look back and go, oh, thank God I started that then, or I'd just be starting now and I'd wish I was
right
where I was at. And that happens so many times. And I talk to people and they're just like, oh, I wish I would have listened to you 2 years ago and just made that movie because I'm just now making it now. So just figure out if it's really what you want to do and then just do it and don't let anything stop you.
Laura, up and coming actresses here in Nashville, someone, let's picture you're talking to a 10-year-old who has dreams of being an actress, seeing her name in lights. What's something you'd say to her, maybe she's viewing today?
Okay, well, the first thing I would say is if you're gonna do it just for the fame, that is not something that I advise. It has to be something that you feel so much in your heart, like you love characters, you love stories, you love film, you love being around other people, because you're going to work with all these different kinds of people, and then also that you just love, I think a lot of it is love being, who you are, because that's what you're going to bring a lot to it when you audition. That's something that no one else has when you do audition. I think a lot of people kind of think, oh, I'm going to do it like Emma Stone, or I'm going to do it like, Julie Andrews or something like that. I'm going to do it like Johnny Depp. It's like, no. You got to pull from those pieces of you, because we all have them. We all have those different pieces, especially with Vera. I'm not 100% Vera, but I do have those pieces where if push were to shove, that honest reaction would come out, so it's just like you have to pull from pieces of you, the darker parts and the lighter parts, and be able to also be really flexible with your characters whenever you're auditioning, Don't be so controlled about it. That's the biggest thing I learned in LA, is just to kind of go with what you're feeling in the moment.
Right on.
Yep.
So
Rod, what do you got for us?
The question was,
well, Rod's particular question, well, we kind of threw a little more something specific to Miss Laura here. For Rod, you're a producer, you're an actor, just by our conversation in email, I can tell 100% that you take this serious. You want to have a lot of fun, but you also take this serious. No, listen. Rod's like, hey, I need, what questions are we going to be asked?
Yeah.
I mean, forgive me because I didn't have any. And the way that we kind of flow, we have a format for sure, but the way we kind of flow.
We're a little off the cuff here, Rod.
We're a little new too, So here's the thing. Just for you taking your position seriously, you've directly affected me and him. We want to, we're that even more professional. We want to make sure that we provide our next, we're going to be talking to the people from The Box, the director and the cast, a couple of cast members from The Box, another midnight releasing film that Shari has hooked us up with.
Right.
Thank you so much, for that, Miss Shari. I know you'll be watching this. But Rod, our question for you is, you take it seriously, you have a lot of fun. What would you say to someone who is taking acting lessons right now and, wants to get started? What, you be Tony Robbins for a sec. What would you say to them?
I'm kind of reminded of an interview I saw Don Knotts do. You guys remember Don Knotts?
Absolutely.
From Andy, the great Andy Griffith's TV show.
Love he can just grab any movie. I love it.
Probably, he's probably one of the greatest comedians of the 20th century, if ever. But I remember him getting an award, and of course this was years ago. And he said, "Gosh, all I ever did was I just didn't go away."
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
He didn't. I mean,
yeah.
he's been on some form of screen for how long now? I mean, the 60s was Andy Griffith. I'm sure he was, obviously he was in things before that, but here we are in 2021 and we're talking about Don Knotts.
Yeah. So I just expanding on that, that's what I think it is. I think this is a tough business, but you have to be tenacious.
It's a long game in a way.
Yeah. You have to just keep going forward. You can't give up. It's not a business where you can accept no or let no discourage you. And I agree. I think it was Nick that said it. I think it was Nick, but it has to be something. Maybe Laura said, I went both of them, but it has to be something you really love to do. I mean, you really need to. This is a business where you're going to be happiest because you're pursuing your purpose in life.
Yeah. And I think that is what, made us shift from, there's the talking about it and there's being about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the shift that we took on this year. And we've seen such quick success because we've, put our chips all in. And we said, look, we want to profile these folks. We want to be involved any way. We just told the universe, we want to be involved in any way possible. And since we said that and spoke it out loud, things have opened up and things have happened. And I mean, anybody watching this and viewing this, you can think what you want to, but sometimes you have to, put it out into the universe like that, and things happen. Breaks come. Lines come, a script idea might hit you. And I think that getting back to our film here and wrapping up, our Tony Robbins segment here. Once again, appreciate you guys, appreciate what you're doing, appreciate the passion that you have. I appreciate you being on this platform and allowing us the opportunity to showcase the chemistry between Laura and Nick, and how well this film did. We can't wait to continue promoting it. Mr. Rod providing the comic relief in all the appropriate times.
Yep.
I would add to that too. So actually, just an insight to give Rod a little bit more to boast about Rod a little bit here. When I wrote the script, Gallagher did not have any comedy in him at all. It was written very serious. He was really, Joel was supposed to be slightly comical, but there really was no comedy in it. And when I work with my actors, I don't always do what they want to do, but of course I want to sit down with them, and I want to see as individuals and as actors. That's why I'm hiring them, right? They bring something special to the table. So I talk to them, and what do you want to, what do you see? And Rod was like, well, I think we should add some comedy here, and I think this should be a little more light. And I never even saw it that way when I read it, or when I read it, or when I was thinking about it on screen. And I was like, Rod, that's genius. And, and I know Rod well enough, and I know his acting ability, which is phenomenal. I just said, don't say any more. Just bring it to set and do it. And I trust you, and I love you, and we're just going to record it. And it was phenomenal, and I think it really helped bring the whole story and the script up to a level that it wasn't originally written. So to give Rod any of the comical stuff has nothing to do with the writing. That was all that guy. He brought every ounce of that to the table.
And RL and I think RL would agree. I mean, it came off extremely genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Like it
Absolutely.
just flowed. I mean, would you guys all agree? I mean, it just flowed right off.
Yep.
The comedic timing, his articulation. I enjoyed. This is an independent film. This isn't, not saying anything against independent films. We freaking love them. But here I am watching, this guy with this awesome comedic timing. And I'm wondering how many people are not going to see this? How many people are not going to what can we, this is great. Yeah. I mean, the fact that not once, but twice he shot somebody without them,
he struck the sheriff over the head. Okay, let's just call it what it is. He hit the sheriff. He talked down to the sheriff, and even as badass as the sheriff was, he didn't have a whole hell of a lot to say about it. So we all know who was running the show over there at the sheriff's department. Okay?
I don't know if the sequel might be called Gallagher Strikes Back. Or
kind of
Gallagher takes office. I don't know. I mean, hell, who knows? Like Gallagher takes office.
Mr. Gallagher goes to Washington.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows where we're headed from here?
But yeah, as a director, you got to trust your people sometimes. You just got to go, hey, I know what you can do, and I hired you for a reason. Do it. And that's what happened. And everyone has loved it. And we've got such a great response, not from everyone's characters, but Rod specifically, the comedy. And I got to give him all the credit for that, because that was nothing to do with the script. It was all him.
Yep.
That is funny. Now that I think about it, your introduction to him is he's shooting somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the first scene. Like
better late than never. Better late than never, there, buddy. Yeah. I mean, you saved his ass.
Yeah. And if anything, the sheriff originally, when I wrote it, he was supposed to be the kind of pulled back, more reserved, always thinking, and Rod's character Gallagher was the one who rushed in and just shot everyone. Right.
Also, too, we want to say that we were conversating about this earlier. We both loved the guy who played the detective in the convenience store.
Yeah.
Cranston Cumberbatch.
Yes.
Fantastic.
We want to give him a little bit of a shout out here too. We thought that his part in that was really, really good. And it just kind of fit right in with you guys, and it was awesome. We were talking about that earlier, so we didn't want to miss out on that.
I love Cranston. I've worked with him many times, and again, he's one of those guys that I'll put in pretty much any of my films. I'll put in. I love him. I love his work. He's a fantastic actor. Nice. In person, he's a great friend. So
yeah, it totally seemed, Nick, like you had a great team surrounding you to make your vision come true. And I know that's got to feel real great right here.
I love it. I love it to death. And I appreciate my cast and crew. And we go out of our way to make sure that they've got the best drinks and the best snacks, and we have the best time, and we have the biggest after parties and stuff, because I love these guys. Like, I really do. I love everyone that we cast and we bring in our team. These guys are help supporting art and bringing names to small communities, and they love what they do, and I love them for it. And anybody that supports me in that venture, man, I have an unbelievable amount of appreciation for everyone that works on those sets.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 points left, sure. And then this goes with the ending, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, any of our viewers, but the ending reminded me of Terminator 1984. There's a scene in Terminator 1984 where Arnold just goes through the police station, completely taking everyone out. We saw this in reverse. We saw Foster and Vera walking out, and what's no. We saw Foster and Vera leave, and then Foster's girlfriend, ex at this time, because he's totally Team Vera at this point.
Yeah. Not like she gives him any choice.
And Nick, I love this part, man. You had her walking through, and you know it's all distorted and kind of blurred out, and you just see Vera's path of destruction as she's escaping and stuff like that. And I thought that what a great ending, what a great tie back. I love that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think when we were shooting it, I wanted to show how far she had gone and what she was willing to do to keep that relationship and keep the life she believes she's building that probably doesn't really exist, but she's making it exist, right? I wanted to show how far she would go with that. And that's why at the end, I don't want to give it all away, but you know, when Foster kind of placates her in there a little bit, and I won't give the whole thing away, but he kind of realizes, because he can feel what she's doing, that he has to some extent to save the world, if you will, right?
The stakes were high, and Foster basically sacrificed himself.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and I'm glad you got that, because the ending was probably the as a director was the hardest thing to do, because I had such limited space and stuff to work with to shoot that, to keep that interesting. So we're really happy with what it came out, because I feel that I think it was very well done for what we had to work with and what we could do, and we couldn't have done that without the performances of Laura and Rod and Joel and everyone in that scene.
Right on. My last point, and I'll let RL close us out with anything that he may have on his brain. Obviously, this is Behind the Horror. We're Brown Mint Horror. This is what we center around.
Yep.
This was not a horror film. It's not. No. But one thing I did write down after I watched the film, just to somewhat tie it in and make me think, was I wrote, the horror of this film is a roller coaster relationship generated by an encounter with a UFO.
Fair.
I mean, not necessarily the best log line.
Fair.
But
okay.
It's what I thought. And to me, this all stemmed from two people. One went batshit and one went like,
I think she was already there before, but no one's openly admitting that. But okay, we'll go past that.
We don't have the script notes from Nick on that to verify.
Well, she was in a place where she couldn't. I mean, she probably had it in her, but she was never able to articulate it or do anything about it because she had no power. Right? Everyone was bigger, stronger, meaner than her through her whole life, and she was beat down. But then that's the whole point of the film, is when you give someone like that a little bit more power than everybody else, see what they really do. And she did a fantastic job. Yeah. And you're right, the worst horror for me in this, and when I look at it like a horror film, because it's really a sci-fi thriller, and I get that, but you know, the horror is Foster having to give himself up and kill everything about him to sacrifice himself. That to me is the horror of the film, really, you know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, also Nick and I had this conversation too, you know, about Foster and Vera, and he basically was, you know, he was explaining, you know, the real hard thing about Foster's relationship with Vera is that he has no way out now. He absolutely has no way out. His life has changed for forever, literally because of her, because he's tied to her. Yeah. He can't go anywhere. And so, you know, he just had to like basically keep reminding like me and him of that like every single time when we were shooting the ending, you know, just to get us to that point, like where he basically was like, I can't go back to my like girlfriend. I can't. Yeah. Because this is just how it is for the rest of my life, which sucks for Foster.
Yeah, and I got to be a good liar about it too, because I got to convince you that that I don't feel that way. And that's what got us so pumped for that scene. Is I'm like, I've got to be this terrible liar and give up everything I have for this to save people. And it was a good emotional roller coaster, that last scene. A lot of them were. I mean, but it was very interesting, that last one.
There's one more thing.
Go ahead. No, yeah, let's do it.
RL's like, dude, they don't want to be here all night. I get it.
No. Ask your question. That's your question.
So there's the scene where where Foster's actual girlfriend is laying on a couch.
Yep.
And the way the camera is posed, you see her on the couch, and you see over here to the left a like back door, and behind her a staircase. You familiar with the scene I'm talking about? Okay.
I know exactly the scene you're talking about.
I was like this, because I expected
Yep.
Vera
Yep.
to pop up behind that.
Yeah,
I thought she was
just
gonna
like
be there.
plastered there. Like I could just imagine as it pans out. and
He's
it's just
mine
like,
now.
Yeah, just choo, 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 choo. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When we were setting that scene up, I'm I really like that scene because it's probably the most horror looking feel of the whole movie for me, and I made it that way intentionally so you didn't know what was going to happen.
The suspense
and maybe
was
the
there.
intro too, but yeah, that's what I was going. I wanted some suspense. I didn't want anyone to know what could or couldn't happen at any time, and we worked very hard to try to convey that. So yeah, she could have popped out. That was the whole point.
It's very Drew Barrymore and Scream, like answers the phone again. Hello.
Oh my God, I watched that
watching
last
you.
night. Actually,
Oh,
I
get out
watched
of here!
Scream last
Don't
night.
don't.
No,
try
you
to tell,
didn't.
Don't try to
Laura.
tell.
Yes,
us.
I did in the
She's
theater.
like, I watched Scary Movie. It's the same thing. Scary Movie
But
is the
I
same
actually
thing.
no, I watched
Mr.
Scream. I
Scream,
watched
yeah,
the first one is with Drew Barrymore and the girl who plays Monica
is-
from Friends, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Courtney
Yes.
Cox Arquette.
Courtney Cox. Okay, yep.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I knew it was Courtney something.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched that yesterday actually. My friend had a surprise party and her boyfriend planned it. So he planned to watch Scream and rent out the movies. So that's what we watched last night.
We did not get an
Nice.
invite, but
Yeah.
yes, that
A
would have
little
been
upset
cool.
about that.
I guess
That
our
would've been
invitation
nice.
got lost in the mail.
Yeah,
Oh,
missed out on that
man.
one.
Man.
But yeah, guys. I mean,
Yeah, no, but I'm glad you picked up on that scene. That scene was good. And Tracy, is the girl named Yvette Young, played her, and she did fantastic as well. So
Absolutely.
really, shout
And
out to her. She's
anybody,
amazing.
yeah, everybody, like I said, the link to the film will be below. Everybody needs to watch the whole thing, but you're really going to enjoy Nick's work. If you like horror, if you like suspense, you're really going to enjoy Nick's work on that, because you're going to be expecting it. RL, if you have anything, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I got you. Guys, Laura, Rod, Nick, we appreciate you guys taking your time out. Of course, we love the film. We're definitely going to be promoting you guys, and anything else that comes out that, you guys want to shoot over to us, we would love to talk about it with you. We just really enjoy the time. Obviously, for our independent film, makers or up and comings that are watching, these guys hopefully are a little bit of an inspiration to you, that they're out there working hard every day, making different films, so you guys can check those out. Obviously, Midnight Releasing, we appreciate them and Miss Shari from Samara Entertainment hooking us up with you guys. Hopefully we can do this right for you guys and put it out there so that other people can kind of learn from where you guys are at in your careers and kind of move forward and just be the best they can be as far as that's concerned in filmmaking. So we appreciate you again. Hope you guys have a good rest of the year and make some great films, and we can't wait to see what's next.
We look forward to talking to you again. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thank you for having us on. We
Awesome.
appreciate you guys. Thank you. Great
Thank you,
talking
guys.
to you.
Bye, Laura. Thanks,
Thank you
Rod.
so much, guys.
Thank you,
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.